Hey folks, this tutorial is how to create another auto suggestion, calling it auto suggestion part 2. It's a little bit more advanced. How it works is we have a database called Autosuggest with fruits and my fruits. As you can see, neither table is populated, and what you're going to be doing is entering a fruit name, any fruit name. If there are no results, it'll say no results. If you click submit, if there are no results for that fruit, submitting this will add that fruit to your fruits table, as well as add that fruit to your particular fruits that you like. We'll add another one. Pear, no result, submit. Pear has now been added to the fruits table as well as the my fruits table. So the auto suggest is coming from the fruits table. I'll add one more. Let's call this pineapple. No result, submit. Go back to fruits. Pineapple has been added, and it has been added under my fruits as well. Now let's say that you want to choose a fruit that has already been added to my fruits, and it is in the fruits table. So I will type apple and click on that. Actually, I'm going to click on apple. It'll add it to your box. If you haven't completely typed it, click submit, and it is not going to be re-added to the fruit table because it's already there, but it will again add it a second time to your my fruits table. As I go along with this tutorial, you will probably realize that it is not fine-tuned. There's a lot more work to be done with it, but I want to give you the basic coding behind it in case this is something you want to start doing and you're not really sure where to begin. I'm going to help you with that. So let's go to the code. We'll start with index.php. Actually, first we'll start with the connection. I created a connection script, created a variable called con, MySQLite connect. The server name is just localhost. The username is root. There is no password, and the database is called Autosuggest. Going back to the database, Autosuggest. And we're simply telling it if there's a connection error, echo MySQLite connect error, and we're going to exit the script. Let's go to index. We have a basic HTML5 document, all the basic stuff that you would see in a HTML5 document. We have 3 JavaScript functions. We have our heading, opening and closing heading tag, and our opening and closing body tag, and then obviously our closing HTML tag. So first, we have input type text. ID is text box. On key press, it's going to find fruit. We're not sending any arguments or parameters to it. So let's go to the find fruit JavaScript function. Once you press down on a key, A through Z, or even numbers if you have fruit or anything that starts with a number, it's going to call this function find fruit, and I'm creating a variable called fruit equals document.getElementById text box, which is the ID that we gave the input type text, and we're getting the value of that. So whatever we have, whatever's been typed in this text box, we're getting that value. Now we're creating an Ajax, creating a variable called xhttp equals new XML HTTP request, and then we're telling it that on ready state change equals function if this dot ready state is equal to 4 and this dot status is equal to 200. Basically, if we're getting a response back and there are no errors, document.getElementById Autosuggest AS stands for Autosuggest Results, which is this div down here. It does not contain any text initially because this is where our results are going to be populated. So AS results.enter HTML, meaning the whatever value should go into this div ID AS results equals this dot response text. So whatever the server is going to respond back with. And then we're simply telling Ajax to open the xhttp variable dot open get, which is a get request, not a post, get fruit dot php, and we're appending some parameters to this. Fruit equals fruit, so whatever the value is currently in this text box, we're appending that to the URL, and then we're going to send this get request to the server. And this document.onClick equals function document.getElementById autosuggest results.inner HTML equals blank. Basically what we're saying is if we start typing in here and we click anywhere, it's just going to clear out the autosuggest result div. And again, this is not fine-tuned. There's so many different things you can do with this application, but I wanted to give you a basic understanding of how you could code an autosuggest application. So that's going to find any fruit that's in the, let's go to getFruit.php. So we're including once the connection, the con.php, that's the name of the PHP script that has our connection variables and our connection parameters in it. We're starting a variable called results. We're initializing a variable called results. It equals to nothing yet. And then we're getting the fruit parameter that's being passed in our URL. Fruit equals plus fruit. So we're basically keeping the same variable name. We're just telling it that, okay, another variable called fruit will equal whatever is in the fruit parameter being passed by the URL. Now we're creating a query, SQL, structured query language. This is the name of the variable, SQL, equals select count from fruits, where fruit is like the letters, any of the letters contained in the fruit variable. So we're saying count from the fruits table however many names of fruit contain the letters A, P, P, L, E, or P, E, A, R, or pineapple, P, I, N, E, A, P, P, L, E. Query equals MySQL I, or MySQLi query. Again, throwing in the name of the variable that has the connection parameters, and then the name of the variable that contains the actual query. Creating another variable called query count, MySQLi fetch row query, and then we're creating another variable called fruit count, and then we're throwing in the query count, setting it as an array. So taking account of however many fruit begin with the first few letters that we start typing. If fruit count, so if this variable is less than 1, meaning there is no fruit in the database, no fruit in the fruits table that have those letters, it's going to echo no results, as you saw. Else, if it is at least one, if there is at least one fruit that begins with the letters that we started typing, calling another query, SQL equals select fruit from fruits, where fruit like the letters contained in the fruit variable. So we're selecting all the fruit that start with APP or PINE or whatever you may have in there. Once again, query equals MySQLi query, the connection variable, and then the name of the variable that contains the query. While row equals MySQLi fetch array query, MySQLi. So if you don't know what any of this is, don't worry about it. But if you want to know, I'll create a very in-depth tutorial on what all this means. I don't like to leave any information left out. Moving on, fruit, I think there's a typo right there. Yes, there is, but that doesn't matter because I'm calling the same variable down here and over here. So I guess fruit equals row fruit. So whatever column is, whatever's in the fruit column right here, fruit equals the column fruit. I'm actually going to change this to R because that looks really silly. So fruit equals the row fruit, and it's going to keep grabbing any fruit that contain the first few letters of whatever you're calling for. And then I'm creating another variable called results, and I have a dot equal because I wanted to keep throwing out all the fruit that contain those letters. Creating a span style, I'm just giving it a quick style. Make sure that when you hover your cursor over it, it turns into a pointer as if you would be clicking on a hyperlink. Creating another JavaScript function, onClick equals add to box, and I'm throw in an argument or the parameter fruit in there. So whatever name of the fruit is in this particular hyperlink, that's what it's going to throw to the JavaScript function, and I'll explain that next. And then of course closing off the this tag, opening span tag, so that way we can throw in the actual name of the fruit so you see what you're clicking on, closing a span tag, and then adding a break because we don't want all the fruit to be next to each other. We want it to be, one line and then the next line, etc. And then finally we are echoing out whatever is in the results variable. So let's go to the add to box JavaScript function. We'll close the find fruit out. Function add to box, again we're getting the fruit parameter, document.getElementById text box. So again we're calling this text box. Dot value is going to be equal to fruit. So we're saying whatever we click on, whatever name of fruit we click on, we want that name to be populated in the text box. And then we're saying document.getElementById Autosuggest results asResults.innerHTML is equal to nothing. So as soon as we click on that fruit, name of that fruit, it's added to the text box, and then it's clearing out the autosuggest result. And then finally we have a button ID equals submit, which really isn't important for this tutorial. OnClick equals return false. We don't want it to do anything when we click it, but when it detects an on mouse down event, we want to call this function called submit fruit, no parameters, and then the value of the button, which will be the name that you see, submit, closing off the button tag, adding a break tag, and then closing off the rest of the document. So let's go to submit fruit. This is the function we're calling when we click the mouse button down, submit fruit, creating a variable called myFruit equal document.getElementById text box. So again, we're grabbing the text box and taking whatever value is in that, so whatever name of fruit is in that, creating another AJAX request, xHTTP equal new XML HTTP request, and then on ready state change, same as before, ready state equals 4, status equals 200, document.getElementById autosuggest results .innerHTML should say equal to success to let you know that it has been submitted okay. I don't think it actually displayed that. Document.getElementById text box. So these two things are simultaneously happening whenever these two conditions are true. If ready state equals 4 and status equals 200, we're clearing out the text box. We're taking the value to equal nothing. And this time we are creating a post request. xHTTP.open post. We're posting whatever name of fruit is in this variable myFruit. We're sending that to submitFruit.php, and then we're setting a request header, content type, application, da-da-da-da-da. If you don't know about this, I can create a tutorial to explain how AJAX actually works. Unless it is requested up front, I'm going to hold off on that for now because I have some more tutorials to throw up. But moving on, then we're sending to this URL, to this PHP script, we're sending the variable myFruit equal the variable myFruit. So myFruit will equal whatever name of fruit you have. And going to submitFruit.php, again we're calling once the connection script, con php, creating a variable called fruit equal to nothing. We're just initializing it. Now we're saying the variable fruit is equal to whatever's being posted in the myFruit parameter, myFruit variable. So whatever name of the fruit is in this variable, we're saying that will equal to the fruit variable. Another call for SQL, select count ID from fruits where fruit equal the name of this fruit. So now we're saying go to the database, go to the fruits table, and if there's nothing, no ID that is equal to whatever we're submitting, so if we submit watermelon, there is no fruit named watermelon, so it's going to add watermelon to our fruits table. And then that will show up in your auto-suggest results if they start typing WATER, etc. Once again, we're taking the count, however many names of fruit equal that. There will only be one. If fruit count is less than 1, insert that name of the fruit into the fruits table. So insert into the table fruits, what column, fruit, what value should it get? Well, whatever name of fruit is in the fruit variable. and then query equals MySQLi query, the connection variable, and then the SQL query variable. Now what we're doing is saying insert into, so this is going to happen regardless. If there's no fruit by that name in the fruits table, or if there already is, it doesn't matter. It's going to call this query next SQL equal insert into my fruits table, the column fruit. What value will it get? It will get the name of the fruit that is in the fruit variable. Query equals MySQLi query, the connection variable, and then the SQL script variable. And then we're telling PHP to close the connection to this variable. So we're closing off the database connection, we're exiting the script, and that's it. And as you're following along with this tutorial, you'll notice that when I refresh the page, if you already have something typed in there without hitting submit, it's going to stay in there. You can create additional functions to clear out the text box value on page refresh. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to start typing WATER. There is no results, so obviously watermelon will not be in there, but I'm going to add it to it. Submit. Okay, now it's telling us that it is a success, and success went away because I clicked on the document, so it cleared that out. You can fine tune that if you want to. Let's reload, and there's our watermelon. Submit. Success. Fruits contains watermelon, and my fruits now contain watermelon twice because I entered it twice. You can do additional stuff with this. You can make it so that you can only enter one name of fruit into your My Fruits table. You can do whatever you want with it. This is just to get you started with an auto-suggest system. The previous video was very simple. It didn't add anything to the table, to a My Fruits table. That's pretty much it. If you want to see more in-depth auto-suggest, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to keep moving on. My next tutorial will be, I will show you how to swap pages using AJAX request, calling simple HTML pages to reload into your main page. And then after that, I believe I'm going to do a photo album picture like dislike function. So if anybody comes across these tutorials and you like them, let me know. If you want to see something specific, let me know as well. Thank you for watching. Peace.